Hi everyone. Hopefully this is working. If you're watching the live stream, if you could let us know if you can hear us. We have done way too many live streams where we've done the whole thing with no audio and no video. Well, I guess we know the video is working because we can see it right now. So, are we here? Do we have the live chat pulled up so we can?
Yeah.
I'm not starting into this till we get some confirmation. There's a delay, so we gotta like kind of sit here awkwardly for a minute.
It looks like it's working, but I don't know about the audio.
Internet, can you hear us? Hello world. Just turn it on over here and we can hear it for a brief second.
Turn into that.
Okay, it's working.
I can hear it.
Okay.
I can hear it. We're good.
Alright, hello world.
We're
We are Dale and Carrie Spoonmore, the creators of the free From Seed to Spoon mobile app. If you are new to us, welcome. I guess even if you're not new to us, welcome. There's going to be guaranteed shenanigans tonight. We don't have the celebration things. We were going to go to Dollar Store today.
I forgot.
We're not going to have the celebration poppers so we're doing a contest today. We are choosing the winner of the Smart Pots Big Bag Bed. Hey, I said it right this time. And I'm going to switch the screen here so I can show you. So if you're not familiar with Smart Pots, these are fabric raised beds that make it really easy to start growing food. And we are giving one away today and every week until the end of May. We gave one away last week. Kathy was our winner last week. Congratulations, Kathy. And this week, our contest was around submitting a question or an idea for our app for how we can make the app better. So we got a lot of submissions. We're going to be going through a lot of questions tonight. And here's basically how we're going to do this. First, we're going to start off by showing you the app. I spent a lot of time coding today, made a lot of changes, and I have some changes coming out this week. So we're going to go through that, and then we're going to choose our winner, and then we're going to go through and answer as many questions of these as we can get through. We have a lot. So
yeah,
let's
we do have a lot.
dive in.
Hopefully there's some duplicates, and it'll be fast.
So I'm going to jump in and show you our app. Hold on, there's a noise happening over here. I have to fix this.
Okay.
Sorry, that was going to drive me nuts. So, this is our app, and this app is our app that we made to help you grow food. So, I'm going to start just by showing you our backyard so you can get an idea of where we started. 3 years ago, this is what our yard looked like. We had never grown anything to eat, at least. I'd grown some stuff, but nothing to eat successfully. And we started growing food in our backyard, and we basically just, it kind of just took over our lives over the past 3 years. So, I need to update this photo now because it looks even different now. I need to put a different photo in there. But basically, we took everything we learned in building this app, and you can see these books here are basically where we got a lot of the information from this app, as well as YouTube channels and classes that I took, and just learning from people that have been growing food for a long time. And basically, we took all of that and we put it into this app. So this app is a free app. It's available on iOS and Android. You can search for it just by searching for From Seed to Spoon and in either one of the app stores. We also have links on our website, which you can see at the link down below us. I guess we can do that now. First time I've done that before on this type of thing. But there's a link right down here. You can click on to download the app and to see a lot of other stuff too. So so basically we have about 70 different vegetables and fruits and herbs in the app right now. You can scroll through and see a list here. You can also filter down. So if you want to go to this warm season, for example, you can go through and see what all can be grown in the warm season. Once you choose what you want to grow, you can click on it. I'll click on beans here. And from here, it's going to show you how you can grow that specific food. So it's going to give you specific planting dates based on your location. You can click on this button here to go in and see where we calculated as your location. You can update it here. You can see the frost dates that are calculated for your location. So you can click on this drop down and you can see what percentage of chance of frost there is for each date. And this is all based on the nearest weather station to you, and it works anywhere in the United States. Unfortunately, it does not work internationally, and we've had a lot of people reach out asking about that. We are working on some changes now to allow you to set your location manually and set your freeze date manually and things like that, which should accommodate our international users. So we're working on that, and we should have it out soon. So going back to this page, if you just continue to scroll down, it's going to show you all about how you can grow that specific thing. So, you know, how many you plant per square foot, which is the square foot gardening method. If you're not familiar with that, we'll talk a little bit about that here as we go through and answer questions. And also there's other information in the app that I'll show you that talks about this kind of stuff, that you can get more details on stuff if there's something I don't mention here today. As you continue scrolling down, you can see all the information about how to harvest, how to cook. If there's any blog posts we have on our website, they come into here. There should be one for beans. I'm not sure why that isn't working. And then also we have links to buy things on Amazon here. So these are all things that we buy ourselves, that we've used in our garden, things that are useful for each vegetable. And the reason why we have links is because this is how we're able to provide a free app. These links, we get a small percentage of each purchase. So our hope and our goal is to be able to provide free software that's supported through things like this, so that we don't have to ask you for money. I don't like asking people for money. That's why I'm a computer guy and not a salesperson. So I think that this is a model that can work. Hopefully it will. But even if not, it's okay. We're not necessarily in this for money. We just want to help people grow food. That's really why we do this. So I'm going to go back to the top here, and you can see there's a companions tab. If you click on it, you can see all the things that grow really well next to that vegetable, as well as all the things that do not. So this will help you as you're planting to know what you can plant next to each thing, what you should avoid, and all of that. We also have a pest tab where you can see which pests attack each vegetable. So you can go through and see what all attacks it, and then you can tap on that pest to read about how to treat it. And again, we've got links all throughout the app here for things that we buy. But most of the time we're going to recommend, like for aphids, we're going to tell you just to spray them off with water, because that's the best way to handle aphids. If it gets too serious, you can order ladybugs. But we're not going to recommend any pesticides. We're not going to recommend herbicides for anything. We're going to give you the same things that we do in our backyard. We also have a section here for beneficial insects. You can go through and look and see what all benefits your garden and how to attract them. We have a Getting Started tab down here that shows you how you can get started growing food. So it walks you through all the different steps to growing food. I'm not going to go into this here, but if you download the app, you can go through and see that. And then we have all the pests from the app that are bundled into this one tab here. So you can scroll through and see all the different pests, and then tap on them and see that same screen you saw before. So that's basically the app. We also added some stuff, I added some stuff today. I had a few hours I was coding today, and I got this videos tab added. So this should be out in an update this week, but it's going to pull in all of our videos from YouTube. We're also going to be adding in things like push notifications in here, and then we're going to be embedding this live stream directly in the app pretty soon as well. So that's going to be in this page. And then our blog post page, I changed it around. So now you can go in here and you can see all the blog posts from our website. You can scroll through and read about, a little summary of it, and then you can go click on here to go to our website and read more. We also have other tabs in here as well over in this other menu. If you're not familiar with this menu, you can get to it just by clicking this button up in the top left. And then we're not going to add any more tabs in the bottom down here, but we are going to continue to add pages over in here. So we've got a page for some of our favorite products. We went through and basically just took all the things we like to use and put links to them right here. And then we also have a page for SmartPots. So anyway, that is our app. We have a lot of ideas for what we want to add. We got a lot of ideas submitted as well. So we're going to go through and be talking about a lot of that today. So we have a mix of questions and ideas for the app. So we'll go ahead and choose our winner, and then we'll jump into questions. So we have our random number generator here, and Carrie has her spreadsheet over here.
Okay. Here we go.
Let me see. Are there any questions on the live stream?
I didn't see anything yet.
I can switch to my
I just saw hellos, and yes, they can hear us.
Okay, cool. You can see this.
So, hi.
Hi.
Okay, here we go. Whew. Let me pull it back up. Okay. Okay, number 11. Who is that?
11.
11. This is the first time doing Amy Trotter.
Amy Trotter.
Woo!
Congratulations,
Yay,
Amy. What is Amy's questions?
She said, "This is my first time doing a square foot garden. Previously, I'd done just a large garden bed. Do you have any tips for a first timer?"
Yes, I do.
Well, she's perfect
yeah.
to win it. That's great.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah,
so
that worked out great.
I actually have a whole blog post that talks about my tips for beginners. And really, I think I'm just going to start by telling you the things that we made mistakes on the first year. So number one, we overwatered. You got to be careful not to, I know when you're starting out, you think that plants need water all the time, and they do need water, but they also need air. And if the roots are always soaked in water, then the plants aren't able to get air to the roots. So you want to stick to a consistent watering schedule, and go in the app, and it has a full description of all this kind of stuff. But just long story short, whenever the soil is dry, about 2 inches down, that's when you want to water again. So, and whenever you want to water deeply to where the water soaks out the complete bottom of the bed, and you know that it's completely soaked. So we run our irrigation for 15-20 minutes until the water's running out the bottom of our beds, and then I don't water again until it's dry about 2 or 3 inches down. That's one of the biggest tips. Also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in the beginning. It's okay. You're going to learn from them. I recommend also starting with herbs. Herbs are really easy to grow. They make things taste better. They'll give you a lot of confidence. But go check out that blog post. On our website, if you go and just search for beginner or how to... We'll follow up with a comment in the chat. We'll do that. Okay. We will. Okay, so yeah, those are our tips for a beginner. So we got a lot of questions,
okay,
so I could spend all day talking on all these.
Here?
Yeah, so we're going to go through rapid fire.
Okay, this person is in far southwest Oklahoma and wondering what the best options are for vegetables out here in clay soil and no mulch delivery.
I haven't had to deal with that. I've only grown in raised beds, so anything that I'm going to talk about is going to be just from things I've read in books and not from actual personal experience. So let me say that first. I would reach out to someone so Chris Webster at Providence Farms grows this way. And I know he has a lot of success using things like cover crops to help convert that soil. So I would find a cover crop mix that's good for that area, probably something that has, a mix of peas and hairy vetch and maybe some rye and things like that, and get that going. And then that's going to help break up the clay. I think daikon radishes would be a great option as well, because they're going to break down into the soil and help break up some of that clay. Something like comfrey, I would do a lot of things like that to help break up the clay soil. And then you're not going to have much success with root crops that need to have a lot of space. I mean, those just aren't going to work well. But things that, I don't know, that's a tough one because I haven't had to deal with it. But I think, things like okra, I think would probably do well, corn. But really, if you can add compost, that's the biggest thing too. If you can add compost and get that going, and then you're going to be able to break up that clay soil. Okay, move on to the next one.
Okay, this one is a suggestion. Would love additional information in the app regarding how to harden store vegetables.
Okay, so about how to store vegetables. So yes, we need to add some more. We do have a section in here. If you go to a vegetable, if you scroll down, we have a harvesting section, but we need to add a storing section here.
Yeah.
And we're going to be adding more sections into here. We also have added a new seed saving section on some things. I know it's on cilantro.
There's cilantro.
So on cilantro, we have saving seeds. So we need to add more sections like that. So great suggestion. Thank you.
I like that. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. I see you make your own compost. Let's see.
So the question is, they see that we make our own compost. Do we use 5 different types of compost? So the basis of this question is that the Square Foot Gardening book recommends using 5 different sources of compost and then combining those together whenever you make your compost. I agree with that. And the idea behind that is that just like humans, a well-rounded diet for your plants is better for them. So if we were to eat the same thing every day, that's not going to be good for us. So it's the same way with your plants. So if you can get a variety of composters, that's best, and that's what we do. So I get my compost from Minnick Materials. They have 3 different types of compost that I get there. So that's 3 different types. I make our own compost here. I make ours with wood chips and coffee grounds and grass clippings and eggshells and comfrey and things like that. We throw that into it. We also have a worm compost that we use. And then we also have, I've gotten compost from Markham's Nursery. Their redbud compost is pretty good too. So I combine all of those into our compost bin. So that's how I handle that 5 compost thing. If you don't have access to that, then you just got to deal with what you got and get by with what you have. But But that's what we do. And you can always make your own compost, and then you know it's getting a variety of nutrients.
Sounds good. Okay, well, this person wants to get notifications when it's time to plant, indoors and outdoors.
Yes, that's a great suggestion. This is something that's been on our list. So the suggestion is that whenever it's time to plant something, you get a notification. I think I'm going to talk about the whole kind of vision for this, and it's probably going to cover a number of suggestions. So here's what we want to build. We want to have it so that whenever you're on a vegetable, you can tap a plus button up here to add it as planted in your garden. And then it uses the date that it was planted combined with the other dates that we have to then help you along the way. So we'll be able to know how much it's rained where you are and give you alerts for when you need to water based on that, give you alerts for when you need to harvest based on when the time is opening up for that. We're going to be able to do a lot of things like that. So that's what we're working on. The problem, I guess not really a problem, but the fact of it is that the only time that we have to work on this right now is like now and early morning and stuff like that. So that is a feature that's going to take a while to build at my current schedule. So we are working on it, and we're actually we've been coding on it even. So I think we'll be able to have it out by the end of the year. I feel pretty good about that, but I don't always know when I'm going to have a lot of time to work on this, because sometimes I get really busy at work and I'm not able to work for a while, or we've had 3 soccer games this weekend for my daughter. So, and that's the time that I normally code, is on the weekend and stuff. So today I was able to find some time to get about 2 or 3 hours of coding knocked out. So we got some stuff added. But yes, we definitely want to add that whole kind of, and the idea is to have it to where the app guides you through everything you need to do. So that it's really simple to grow food, and it'll all be customized based on where you live and all of that. So I think that answers a lot of those. So we'll see as we get to them. Yeah. Something we are going to be adding in the meantime is a favorites icon here. So we're going to have an icon right in here. That's a star. You can click on it, and then that's going to add it to a filter. So you can go into here and filter down to favorites. So I've got the code like halfway written in my head. And I had some questions about what to do on it, and I reached out to Justin. So I haven't talked about Justin yet. Justin is
I think you have.
Have I talked about Justin?
I don't know.
Justin is one of the smartest people I know, and luckily he's agreed to work on our app with us. So he's been working with us for about a month now. He's a brilliant developer. We're really lucky to have him. So he's working on a lot of other stuff too. We got a lot of stuff going on. We're definitely working on this as much as I can. Trust me, it's definitely as much as I can.
Okay. Best organic ways to handle weeds and bugs.
Okay. You want to check the live stream while I'm answering this one?
Yes.
Okay, so the best organic ways to handle weeds and bugs. Well, we've got that in the app. So for all the bugs, if you go into this critters tab, you can go through and look at each one of those and see about how to handle those. As far as weeds are concerned, if you do these raised beds or these smart pots like we do, you're not going to have issues with weeds. Hardly minimal. You're not really going to have it. If you're growing in the ground, then you're going to have issues with weeds. But I didn't want to be dealing with that, so that's why we did things the way that we do it. So we really don't have any issues. I guess we do have things like catnip popping up everywhere, but I don't consider that a weed problem. I just consider it we have extra catnip now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then this is probably. I think we're going to have this question later on. I'm going to go ahead and tie in this now. One thing that kind of ties into this is diseases and fungus and things like that. And people ask me, like, what do we do about that? And we don't have much information about that in the app, because if you employ the proper crop rotation practices and growing practices, it really minimizes how many issues you have with diseases. So if you have a raised bed, for example, and you put tomatoes in that bed year after year, it's really easy for that disease to take hold in that bed and to take over, and to live there. Whereas if you move your tomatoes around and you don't follow it with a plant that's just like tomatoes, then the disease can't really get going. So if you do that and you use compost and you use, good gardening practices, then we really haven't dealt with any disease issues on our plants. We deal with, whenever we get heavy rains in the summer, we'll have some issues with powdery mildew. It just goes away, though. We really haven't had to do anything to treat it. If you have healthy soil, then you're going to have healthy plants, and they're going to be able to overcome things. So that's where compost is so important. That's where worm compost and and not using, you know, all those chemical fertilizers with all those salts in it and all that kind of stuff. That's where all that stuff is so important. So over the past 3 years, we've been doing that really well, and our soil is responding. So do we have any questions on the live stream? Okay. So next question.
Okay, so this is a suggestion, and it says under pest to add, you know, under the pest tab, like which plants they're attracted to.
Yes. So the suggestion is if you go on the pest tab, to have a link to the plants that these pests are attracted to. So we should totally do that because we have links the other way, from plants to pests.
Just not pests to plants.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should totally be able to do that.
Yeah.
Great suggestion. Thank you. Who was that? Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. She's been a follower of us for a long time. She's up in Tulsa. So
and she also wants to see some more edible flowers, just like the sunflowers that we already have.
Yes, do you have suggestions for that, Cheryl? Send in your suggestions. We add nasturtiums, marigolds,
sunflowers.
Yeah. But we're going to add roses and stuff like that too. But yeah, we love, we need to add dandelions and henbit and things like that people consider weeds. We're going to add those in. But we really want to shine a light on some of those edible things that people don't realize are edible. So please, if you have suggestions for things
let us know.
Or suggestions for anything that you want to see added to the app of vegetables, send them in, because that's how we choose what we're going to work on, is what people tell us what they want to see. So that's why
I have a list going right now of things to be built. So if you want something added to it, add it. Let me know.
Yep, let us know in the comments or send them in, however you want to do.
Okay, so this is Amy's. We already answered hers because she was the winner again. Okay, this person. Oh, here you go. You worked on this today, right? Or you talked about this today. This person wants to have the app on their laptop or desktop.
Yes. So this is something we've heard about a lot this weekend, actually, about the capability to have the app on your desktop or on your Mac, not on a mobile phone. And this is something we are working on that we should be able to have pretty soon. I haven't actually done it yet. I've just read a lot about it and watched a lot of videos about it. So theoretically, it should all be simple, but I've learned that in the world of software,
nothing's simple.
You never, things come up and you don't expect them. So it's definitely on our radar. That's also going to add, to where you can use it on a Kindle Fire and on a Kindle, any device that has access to a browser, and it'll resize. It'll look just like this, like the app does now. You see on the screen in the web browser. So, yeah, we're working on it. I definitely want to do that, and thank you for submitting this, and thank you to everyone else this weekend that I met that told me that they wanted that, because I didn't fully understand how much people wanted that until then, so it's definitely higher on the radar now. So,
okay. Well, this person has suggestions for more things to add. Rhubarb, blueberry. Well, we do have blueberries.
We have blueberries.
And fruiting trees, which, yes, I do have actually fruiting trees on the list. And I think I actually added rhubarb to my list too.
I don't know anything about rhubarb.
So
I'm excited to.
I'm going to be looking it up. So
it's kind of fun. We've been able to look up and learn a lot.
Yeah.
We're geeks. We're totally.
It's fun to learn.
Okay, the question is, how many basil plants need to be planted with tomatoes to keep away bugs? There's not like a set number. What I do is I plant my tomato. I put a couple transplants, like 3 around the tomato at the time that I plant the transplant, and then I sprinkle basil seeds around it too. And then I just thin down, and I let it grow kind of around the tomato, and then that's basically, there's not really a science to it or a certain number. It's just as many as you can fit around there, and it also really depends on how you grow the basil, because if you snip the tops and you keep it, like a kind of a bush variety, or more like bush-like, then you're going to be able to grow more than if you kind of let it sprawl everywhere. So yeah, you can't go wrong with basil though, and you can't have too many. If you have too many, then they're just going to compete with each other, and natural selection will take you down to having the right number. So you're going to be fine. So
that goes along with this question too. When do you thin?
When do you thin? So it depends on what it is. So the question is, when do you thin your plants? With things like cabbage and broccoli, they're 1 per square, which when we first started growing seemed like a waste, and it still seems like a waste. So that's why we switched to a different way of growing cabbage and broccoli. So now what we do is we sprinkle seeds all in the square, and we let them grow, and I just kind of thin them down, and as it looks like they're starting to compete with each other. So I don't want them to be touching. I don't know. There's really not a set and hard rule on when to thin. It's a tough one because every plant is a little bit different. With squash, so here's a good way. So with squash, for example, I'm not going to eat those thinnings. So if I have 3 next to each other, I know by the time they have 3 sets of true leaves, which one is going to be the best one. So that'll be the time that I thin them down. So maybe 3 sets of true leaves, 3 or 4 sets of true leaves. That's
sure. Yeah,
that's a good. Yeah.
Ooh, how to prevent tomato worms.
How to prevent tomato worms. So I'm just going to show the app for this. So if you go to the Critters tab and you scroll down to tomato hornworm, you can see that we have recommendations for things. So these wasps work really well. You can buy them on Amazon. They're predatory wasps, and they lay their eggs inside of the tomato hornworm. Do we have a picture of... We need to add a picture of what that looks like.
I think we do under the Pest tab. If you click on... Or maybe I put it in
No, we need to add that.
I think I actually put it in under the beneficials. Whenever I talked about...
yeah. Okay, cool.
However you pronounce it.
Yeah, so let me show you. Well, I'll come... Yeah. So that's one thing you can do. You can also use BTK. It's an organic pesticide. It's not a chemical pesticide. It's a naturally occurring soil bacteria that is you can put in water and spray out on your plants that are affected by caterpillars, and it can help. It can help with that. We also pay our kids $0.25 for everyone. Mm-hmm. That is super effective. That works really well. If you don't have kids, then I'm sorry, it's a terrible recommendation.
Have kids!
Find some nearby. You gotta know kids somewhere, right?
Have neighborhood kids. There you go.
And it'll get the kids interested in gardening. So yeah, it's a win-win. Okay, so next question.
How do you keep Bermuda out of gardens?
Bermuda is tough to deal with, and that is why we attack it with cardboard. So we have a section here in the app. Where is it? It talks about... It's in this location tab. It shows here's the picture. So you can see we just covered Bermuda with cardboard and then wood chips, and the wood chips are about 1 foot tall. And then that's our whole backyard now is covered with that. You can see up here, this is it's basically all cardboard and wood chips. Mm-hmm. So 2 layers of cardboard, if there's any light at all, the Bermuda will get through, and at least 1 foot of wood chips. But that will take care of Bermuda.
Yeah,
it will
Bermuda's
work.
Crazy.
And if you don't use the cardboard, it will not work. I've tested it. Cardboard is necessary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, this person lives in the Texas Panhandle, and when she plants pole beans, they start growing and then withering, and they die. What's she doing wrong?
It's hard to know without more information. Watering, consistent watering could be it. I assume she's probably thought of that.
Maybe compost?
Could be. It could
soil?
Be. Something to consider also is beans sometimes need an inoculant in order for them to... So beans are a member of the legume family, and they produce these little nodules on their roots that the plant takes in nitrogen from the air and stores it in there. And that's where they get their nitrogen from. So if the beans aren't inoculated, or if there's not the soil bacteria already there, then sometimes they can have issues. So it's a really cheap and easy way to verify that isn't it. Just you can buy it on Amazon. We need to add that to the beans page. The inoculant. That light is moving and making noise and bugging me again.
It's the wind.
So it's always windy here. If you're not from Oklahoma, we can't record without it being windy. It's just always windy. So that's something I would think about with beans. Beans also, if they can get a little bit of shade in the afternoon, they'll appreciate it, especially in the Texas Panhandle where it gets really, really hot up there. Really hot up there. It's really hot up there. Sorry, memories of bike rides.
Isn't it down there?
I said up there, Panhandle. No, it's in...
I don't know.
You don't know where you are?
I don't know where I am. Well, Texas is down.
But the Texas Panhandle, it's the... yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
We guaranteed nonsense.
Yeah, that's true.
So
we did. Here you go.
So yeah, it's hard to know without knowing more information. Sorry, we're looking at the questions over here. We're really bad at that. Okay, so next question.
Okay, so what were the names of the summer squash with solid stems?
Summer squash was early Boulam. I don't know how to say it. I could spell it. I could spell it. We will have a blog post. We'll put a blog post this week.
Is it Kawasaki?
I don't even. I'm not gonna try that either.
Seeds or something.
We'll put out a
like
blog
that?
post this week that has those.
Okay.
Don't let me forget that blog post.
Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Will you write that blog post for me?
Okay. I'm hoping to get into gardening this year. Which material is best for starting raised beds? The Scream topsoil, compost, or garden mix?
Tara, so the question is, getting into gardening this year, which material is best for starting raised beds? We recommend going with the Mel's Mix from Square Foot Gardening. If you go in the How to Start tab and you go to this Fill Containers of Soil Mix, we talk all about how to make it. And it's a mix of compost, vermiculite, and either peat moss or coconut coir. You can use either one. So we've used it. You can back down on the vermiculite if you want, and if you need to save some money because it does get expensive, you can back down to like quarter vermiculite, quarter peat moss, half compost. We've had success with that mix as well. Next question.
Okay. Kimberly wants to know how you developed your app. Did you hire somebody, or did you do it yourself?
I didn't do it myself. We did it together, and the girls.
I don't know. You did it. You built the main stuff.
So I've worked in software my whole life. I did not know how to code though until last year. So I actually have a talk. Hey, look, this new videos tab is going to pay off. So if you go to the videos tab, I just gave this talk last week right here. How I learned to code, how I learned to build a mobile app in 3 months, and how you can too. And I talk all about how I learned to code, the resources I used, specific videos I watched, and people I learned from, and all that. So again, I've been in software my whole life, so it was a lot of these things weren't new to me. I've done automated testing and script writing for a long time, so I had some experience, but it's definitely something anyone could learn. And feel free to reach out to me if you need help learning, or if you need to be pointed to the right resources. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I was listening to you and I wasn't looking ahead. Okay. Would love to have somewhere to chart whenever you plant. I think we've already talked about this, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. I need to get better through these.
It's okay.
I'm going. I'm looking through to find something new.
Okay. I'm looking at the chat room. So.
Okay. Ooh. Can you get rid of blight? How to get rid of blight? This person deals with a lot of blight.
Blight. We have not had to deal with blight, and again, that's going to come down to crop rotation and making sure that you're. Sorry, I'm looking at a question. Okay, sorry. I can't look at. I can't read questions.
But can you get rid of it once you have it? I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. I've never. So, like, I personally have not dealt with it much. So maybe there are ways to get rid of it, but really the best prevention, or the best way, is to prevent it from crop rotation, choosing varieties that are resistant to it, having sanitary practices out in the garden where you're not like clipping a diseased plant and then using the same scissors or clips, to clip another plant. So, yep.
Okay. We talked about weeds. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking. Kids. How to get kids involved.
How to get kids. Pay them $0.25 to...
yeah, we talked about that, too.
No, but seriously, our kids have their own gardens. They don't always like going out there, but every now and then they really like being out there. So we don't force them, to go out there if they don't want to. We try and make it a fun experience.
Usually they like to go out when you're out there, so it's more like just being with you.
And with our older kids, it's different. I had them from a previous marriage. I wasn't gardening at all until they were like 5 and 6, so it was something new to them.
Whereas the younger ones, you can't keep them out of
yeah, because it's all they've ever known. They were practically born out there.
Yeah.
So really, we just try and expose them to it. We have them harvest food a lot. They really like that part of it. We pay them to go catch caterpillars and pests and squash bugs, and we have a 20-pound rabbit, which gets their attention. Or he's not 20 yet. He will be 20 pounds.
He will be. He's close.
He's growing. We're growing
15
him.
to 20.
So yeah, those are some tips on how to get kids excited in the garden. Are we like halfway through the
Sorry,
questions yet, or?
Listed.
Okay, Carrie's taking a break. I'm gonna keep rolling.
Right back, I promise.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll through these as fast as I can. Advice for keeping blueberry plants alive in central Oklahoma. So blueberries like acidic soil. So if you're not having success, that's the first thing I would look at is the soil pH. You can get a soil test. If you're in Oklahoma, you can get it at the OSU County Extension Office, or any one of your local counties. They do a really good job, and you'll get a result back in a few weeks. But that'll give you the pH, and then from there, there's all sorts of things you can do to adjust it. So that's where I would start with blueberries. Also, making sure they're getting enough sun. Blueberries definitely need to be full sun. So that's what I would look at if you're having issues with blueberries. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay. How deep does the soil need to be to grow potatoes? Isn't it? So the Square Foot Gardening Book says you can get away with 6 inches, but I'm not buying it. I do all of my potatoes in smart pots because it makes it really easy to harvest. So the smart pots that I use for potatoes are these here, these 25 and these 20 gallon ones. So they're about 18 inches tall probably. And the really nice thing about these is you can just dump them out to harvest. So this is the only way I've grown potatoes is in these. I haven't grown them in our raised beds or in the ground or anything. Next question is, I would love to see a section for recipes of all the fresh veggies I'm going to get and how to store. So we talked about how to store a little bit ago, but I do want to show, if you go to a vegetable, so bush beans, for example, and you go down to the bottom, we have, well, there's not on here. So there should be blog posts coming in for each one. Beets should have them here. Let me see if this works. Maybe I broke something in my coding earlier. Uh-oh. Blog posts aren't loading.
Uh-oh. For any of them?
Well, one for beets and one for beans. Maybe I know there's blog posts for cabbage, so they should be here. There we go. Cabbage. Okay. So you'll see there's a blog post section. This will pull in all the blog posts that we have about that vegetable. And if there's any recipes, it'll pull them in here as well. So we have a lot.
We're talking recipes?
They wanted us to include recipes in the app. So that's Carrie's favorite part here.
And I am writing more. I love.
She's already written more. She's waiting on me.
I actually have 4 that I'm waiting on.
She has a lot for squash. So look at all these ones she has for squash here, and
yeah,
we have a lot more we're adding.
Yep.
Yep.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Okay, so I am getting very tired, and Carrie has to get up at like 5 a.m. So we're going to roll through a lot more of these questions here, and then we may just follow up with blog posts or more videos later to answer some of these other ones. So one suggestion is for a graphic or chart for companion planting. I like it.
Yeah.
And the seeding square chart is really good.
Yeah.
That's what we used to make a lot of the companionship was the chart that they had.
Seeding Square has a great chart that's really easy to use, and
we'll see if we can take theirs and put it in the app.
Yeah, we can ask them.
Yep, we'll do that.
Yeah, they're great.
The next suggestion is if, for a tool to design like a garden layout. That's definitely something we want to do. For 3-4 years of my life, I spent it designing and managing software that was basically sketching out houses, and it would calculate how much the house is worth and all that kind of thing. So a lot of that translates directly into what we do in the garden, and I have a lot of ideas for what we want to do. It just boils down to the thing I talked about earlier, where there's just finding the time to work on it. That light is like gonna fly at us. The wind is. Y'all can't see what I'm talking about.
Why is the wind picking up now?
Hold on, I'm moving the light again. Move light break. Okay. Again, garden planning tool. And then suggest things to go together. We have the companion plants tab, so that handles that. So, how many questions do we have left? We have getting close to the end.
I feel like a lot of these are duplicates, though, too.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're gonna call it a live stream there, and then if there's any that we missed, we'll do another live stream. I'll mark where we are on this spreadsheet here. Okay, so we'll come back and follow up with another live stream this week if there's anything we missed. So if there's anything else that you want to hear about, or any questions that we talked about, or that you have spurred from what we talked about,
or any vegetables you want added,
leave them.
Flowers you want.
Leave it in the comments, and we'll follow up with another live stream. And we'll answer these questions, and yeah, so let us know what you think about this format. We'd like to hopefully keep doing this. We'll see. Yeah, if y'all find these helpful. Maybe they're too long. Maybe it's too much information in one video. I don't know. Maybe we need to break these up into smaller videos. Let me know what y'all think. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, we're gonna be announcing another
contest.
Another contest.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow, are we gonna announce it?
Yeah, because we know what we're doing now.
I
Like
know
we
we
planned
do.
it
I'm
ahead, like a
excited.
whole week ahead.
Yeah.
So we will be announcing another contest tomorrow. So be looking for a blog post. Go on our website, sign up for email alerts there, and you'll receive an email every time we post something new. Or let me show this too in the app. If you go to the blog post tab, if you go here tomorrow, there will be one for the new contest. So that is it. So thanks for joining us.
What was the winner's name again? I forgot. We need to say it one more time.
One
just,
more time.
Just
in
so.
case you're going this late.
Yep. It was number 11.
Amy Trotter.
Amy Trotter.
Amy
So
Trotter, you're the
congratulations
winner.
again, Amy.
Congratulations,
Woo!
Amy. All right.
It's exciting.
Goodbye, world.
Bye.
As I awkwardly try and find the off.